Wow.
Nice.
What an intro.
Never meant to be played by human hands.
No.
It was never meant to be. It was originally just drawn in to the timeline, and someone has created, well, Scott Poole specifically, has created a heavy metal version of Silly Song. So thank you for introducing our Hat Chat episode 178.
Fuck. I'm 4 off. That's quite significant.
Well, we've had a big gap, so apologies for the gap.
Yes.
Things
Sorry
have
for that
happened
gap.
in between, and we've been.
I don't know who's speaking right now.
It's Ross Hornby.
That took a second. I'm Chris Trott.
Also, you were speaking when you made that statement, so I don't know when I'm speaking right now, and my name's Alex Smith.
I think I was trying to process that.
What do you mean you don't know who's speaking? You're speaking.
You're speaking.
I'm having a mini stroke. Who's talking right now?
But yeah, welcome back to the Hat Chat podcast. Again, like Ross says, Ross Hornby, that is over there.
Hello.
He's got this voice.
Hello, this is my voice.
We haven't been here for the last couple of weeks because it's been a busy, tumultuous, and impactful, milestone-making time of our lives.
It's been a tornado of a schedule,
which we can talk about a little bit.
Wait, which part?
Huh?
What part are we going to talk about?
Well, there's a couple of bits that happened that we can talk about.
Oh yeah,
I got married.
Wait, what?
Was one of them.
Why the fuck was it? Where were we invited?
We're in a polyamorous
three-way life partnership.
Of course we are.
A platonic.
That's it.
It's not
Very
polyamorous.
platonic.
It's not polyamorous.
Yeah,
There's no amor here.
It's a good reason why I'm not wearing a ring. Is because it's somewhere else.
And when they combine, they create a Power Ranger-like weapon.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is just 3 small rings.
Did mine have to be pure uranium?
Yeah.
Because I'm starting to feel ill.
Yeah, you got to tickle.
So I feel very sick.
Tickle down there. But yeah, I got married, so that's a big life adult thing to do. I wear a ring now, which means I get to wear more rings, right? To accompany my ring.
You can wear.
Is that right, Craig?
We've
got Craig on the
rings.
mic, by the way.
Yeah, Craig's on the mic.
Craig's here.
I'm on the phone, yeah.
Hello, Craig. You're calling into the Hat Chat podcast.
Yeah.
There he is.
He is here, yeah.
Wearing a ring, does that open up the opportunity to wear more rings?
Yes, of course. You can only wear a ring once you've been married, but once you that's actually 6 rings stacked together.
Nice. Those are really thin rings.
I think he's wearing what are those things that you use, key rings? You know, they're like the things that they're so thin.
Oh,
you know, like he's
like
hooked up a load
noodles.
of those. Yeah, just stainless steel
the
key
thickness
rings.
of a glass noodle.
I feel like now.
Yeah, I mean, you got definitely. I was thinking, rings are cool as long as they look good.
I'm going to get a big gem.
I have a fear of not getting them
ruby.
off.
What this won't allow you to do is wear rings that would still look bad, regardless of whether or not you currently wear another ring. It's still, you need to be like. I
shouldn't go to full finger.
Well, I was thinking about this. And
rings.
I literally had the same thought the other day. I was like, I like the look of rings. I wear rings in LARP LARP form.
Signet.
And I have
rings,
some really gaudy like costume jewelry, which is fun and an accessory, right? An expression. But a lot of the time they will look shit. So you just need to work out what looks good for you.
It's got to be complimentary to my golden ring.
Yeah.
Is it golden?
I mean, don't get a horrible massive thing, you know? Don't
full finger articulated ring.
Why not one of those ones which looks like a kind of
on it.
Pointed as well, like a dragon's claw. Yeah.
Well, knuckle duster.
Yeah, knuckle dusters.
Constantly wearing a knuckle duster.
That's the ultimate ring because you have to put
all
all 4 fingers on
at
it,
once.
and also it's a weapon. Which, if anything, when it's very pronounced.
What, a knuckle duster?
A knuckle duster. Yeah.
Well, you wear the
hard. Yeah. So
the club bit
it's
goes
actually
in
just
your
a
hand.
big old.
Then you have the
bit
rim
of metal.
Yeah.
Still they are an offensive weapon. If you were found with a knuckle duster on you without good reason, then it could be considered an offensive weapon, and you could face criminal charges.
What if you just had an array of strong signet rings?
Then you're
when
good.
you hit someone with that's going to hurt.
Yeah.
I don't really know. Do people use knuckle dusters?
I think
on
wearing
daily?
a knuckle duster, there's a clear intention of harming, right?
Yeah.
Whereas if you've just gone overboard with
if
big
you've just
rings,
got massive signet rings, it just shows you've got bad taste.
I suppose you wouldn't say the same about someone wearing a spike necklace. Because they might be
necking someone.
What if they take it off and start whipping around?
You could do that with your belt.
You really could. And we should stop wearing belts.
Anything could become a weapon, but most people are wearing it because they're alternative and have traumatic pasts.
Do you think that's the only reason? It can't be the only reason. It can be some of the reasons.
Well, there's obviously the spike collars.
Yeah, defensive. Just stay back, stay away. Spikes everywhere.
Yeah, that's why they put spike collars on dogs. I think we talked about this a while back, right?
Stay away from the neck.
So one of the first reasons to put a spike collar around a big dog was to stop it being killed by the animals it's hunting.
I see.
So when you'd have dogs going for things like bears, or when you had them fighting in fighting pits and they're fighting fucking lions and stuff like that, then you would put spiky things around their neck to stop them getting insta-gibbed by animals that kill by biting the spine.
Right.
So that was part of the reason that spiky collars came about on dogs.
Yeah, oh yeah.
When people started to wear them, of course, it was an expression of their trauma.
That's the
a
only
need
way,
to belong outside of the norm because the
Right.
norm doesn't fit them. Because they're too weird
spiky
because of the
personality,
stuff
bro.
that happened to them when they were a child.
You don't say that can't be the
Why
only
did,
reason. We can't just say that blanket statement. That's
Why
No,
are people
no.
into alternative cultures?
Well, yeah, it's really just a way to.
If the
express
main
yourself.
culture didn't work for you, would
What's
you
the
perhaps
main
look
culture?
for an alternative culture?
Which one's the main?
The fucking dick in the vagina,
Suit
pint of
Ties down to
lager.
11.
Pint of lager. I'm quoting that because of Super Hands
Right.
from Peep Show. You go,
It's just weird that you start with dick and vagina.
I thought
The
he would
context is weird.
recognize that. You know, when he's talking about like Mark, you're a
Logos
normal
in the
guy. You're a normal guy. You know, like
Doesn't want logos in the phone.
yeah, like But yeah, I mean,
Peep Show.
Guinness still do that.
I'm not part of the main culture either, by the way.
there we go.
I wish I liked football. I wish I gave a shit about
But
football.
you dress quite normy though.
Well, because I want to fit in, Christopher. I
UK
don't stand
culture.
out.
Yeah.
Then I'll have to constantly defend my way of life, and I can't be bothered.
It does draw attention, and yeah, as much as I want to be alternative, and I have thought about it, I have gone through phases. We've all seen my phases.
The leather glove
phase. I have little moments where I'm like, oh, I want to break from the mold a little bit, and it's like, oh, actually, no, it just draws a lot of negative attention to myself.
It's weird because it's like a lot of the personalities of some of the people I've met who do dress in such a way don't want the attention, but if anything, you're saying, hey, look at me. So is it a conflicting viewpoint? Is that it's obviously not an intended point of view, but it's like, well, you will look at someone who's wearing, got spiked hair all the way up here, which I can't even imagine how you do that. That's impressive.
It's a lot of gel.
Because that's a lot of fucking hairspray.
A lot of gel as well.
It's a lot of work, isn't it?
I struggle sometimes with a short
lazy.
haircut to try and make it. I mean, I used to have spiky hair, but not like
You used to come in
I
like
used to come like a
Sideshow
punk.
Bob.
Yeah, I used to try the sideshow Bob. Although I think is that an afro? I don't know. It's a cartoon, so it's hard to say. But that's a lot of work. I can't imagine the time taken in the day. All the hairspray bottles consumed to get to that look. But then to say, well, I don't want people to look at me. I was like, well, hang on a second.
Well, it might
These
be
bright pink spikes are saying otherwise.
You might think the other way around though. Like think about
yeah.
it in the way that they don't feel like themselves until they wear those clothes.
Maybe not. It's an expression of how you want to feel.
Yeah.
It's like, why did you come out wearing, all those cock rings?
Yeah.
I mean,
Did you have to stack them that many times?
did you have to put so many? Where's
Yeah.
the cock?
Have you thought about just wearing one ring and not loads, Craig?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't want to name them.
I think it's,
really didn't
I think
wanna-
it's in part of people.
wanna out him.
It's the observation about how quite often it's actually not the people you'd expect, or the personality types that when you get to meet these people you'd expect to be like a lot, just
Larger than life.
embodying that vision of what you're seeing, right? Of the messages they're sending. But I think in a lot of ways that takes over the role of that
like being loud.
communication. Yeah,
You're visibly loud rather than being vocally
exactly.
loud.
Yeah.
Otherwise.
It's
But, I
like
mean,
a
there's a whole
signal
psychology
that's
behind it,
it's
I'm
a
sure.
non-verbal signal because you don't necessarily have the verbiage to express the way you feel. So you use clothes and accessories to do that.
I don't think that's even like. I don't think psychologically you're waking up going, I want to do this because of this. You're just like, oh, this looks cool, or you enjoy it, right?
Yeah,
More often than not. And then,
and you just
then people like
enjoy
us then
different
go, this
things.
is why you're traumatized.
Yeah.
And then start pointing fingers.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah. God, it's hard. I mean, obviously, because you
I think nowadays
always
you
get
wouldn't
into the
know.
realm of attacking people. but if you don't attack people, if you don't have an opinion, you have nothing to say. And maybe you can just happily sit in silence your entire life. But in terms of coming out and saying like, this is why I think this is the way it is. I think our desire to call out people that are out of the ordinary is because we have a strong homogenization drive,
a tribal.
a want to belong, a want to be part of.
Well, why don't we wear fucking top hats?
Why we don't wear them anymore? They're a pain in the ass.
Well, this is the longest stretch of
Did you see
human
Eisenbach
history where we
Kingdom
don't wear
Brunei?
hats.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah.
really? Some people wear hats.
Yeah,
I saw someone with a
but,
beanie earlier on.
In the general
there's
human history, we've worn hats, and apparently nowadays this is the longest period of time we've gone without hats.
I think it was
So
a
it's
stature
shame.
thing, wasn't it? I mean, have you seen Eisenbart Kingdom Brunel's hat? I think that was a size issue. I think it was kind of like a.
He was
He was
really
like, fuck,
size
I don't feel
queen.
like I'm tall enough. But I have also created crazy industrial ships and other cool
bridges.
engineering. And then his hat is like half the size of him. It's like, fuck me.
Yeah.
That guy's cool. But annoying to wear a hat that big, I will say. Like a Dr. Seuss
Yeah,
character.
they keep the sun and the rain. I mean, we have better solutions against the rain. We have baseball caps for the sun. We live in a country that isn't that sunny. I think if we lived somewhere that was more sunny, we'd be wearing hats more often.
Allegedly, it was, a lot more outdoor work. Yes,
Yeah.
had a need for hats, so culturally, people wore hats.
Yeah.
Oh, that is a hat and a half. If you're watching the podcast,
That's not as big
his
as I've
bug.
seen him wear a bigger one.
He's had bigger, but
He's had
Crazy thing is that's a bike chain behind him.
Yeah, that's also. Yeah.
He's a tiny. He was a borrower.
He was the inspiration for the
tiny little man.
He was the inspiration for borrowers.
He was so small, and the hat in comparison was also tiny. But also the other thing was the invention of the automobile. So men had to constantly take their hat off, and women, but mostly men at the time.
Yeah,
drove
and hat boxes were annoying.
Yeah, hat boxes, nightmare.
Just think about this.
Yeah,
if anything, now,
if
you went out wearing a hat like that, you would be the alternative dude. And like, what the hell is this fucking clown wearing a giant hat?
Yeah.
You'd be like, mate, come on.
Having to take it off going into Woolworths, which doesn't exist now in the UK. But
does in Australia
I've
still.
taken us back 20 years.
I think.
Yeah, it does.
It does work. It is elsewhere, yeah.
Woolies.
I think I saw one in Germany.
Right. Cool. I mean, it's a website now, isn't it? Woolies.
I think if you own anything, if you own it, as they say, like, because you know how you were saying about the leather gloves, you were wearing fingerless leather gloves as an expression of style.
In
college.
College, right.
You remember, I wanted to wear a cloak to college. It was just the fact that I couldn't find one that led to me not doing that embarrassing thing, Yeah. But now, as an adult who loves LARPing, again, I can own wearing a cloak if I want to.
Yeah, but you do it in a specific environment.
Exactly. Would I wear one to go bed shopping?
Why?
No.
Bed shopping.
It's because you've been trodden down by normalization.
Or I've got a coat that actually keeps me warm better than hanging a blanket off my back.
Yeah, maybe.
Technology.
Maybe.
Tailoring.
Not everything is for comfort, though, is it?
No,
like
I could choose to make a statement.
Comfort.
Well, exactly, Trott. But this is what we're stepping into the reason people are like, "What are you doing, mate?" Because it's not for comfort; it's a statement. And so when I move into that space and make the statement of, "I'm wearing a cloak," people will be like,
"Cloak man."
That's unusual.
Yeah.
Would you like me to engage with it? If I'm gone, well, I'm wearing it in public, and it's not because it's practical. It's not because it's the best solution. It's a solution I've chosen.
It's an identity I wish to represent.
So the faith then lies as the burden of the believer, doesn't it? As in the person going out there and breaking that norm needs to be the person to own it and back it up almost. Yes, you could argue that a person doesn't have the right to confront somebody in public. They don't. However,
it's an enormous hat.
The tallest hat.
Is that for sort of 5G?
We're looking at a hat.
It's so
maybe
tall.
the tallest hat.
It's probably about
Craig's found the tallest hat.
15 feet tall.
Guinness World Record.
That angle isn't very good, is it?
No,
That's not
well,
really
it's showing
going...
you the tall. It's showing you a lot of the height because you don't even see the bottom of this guy's legs. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
We're looking at a picture of a guy who is wearing.
And the angle does show it to be higher than the tree behind him.
Not practical for anything.
No. Well,
that's basically a bit of tubing.
What if you had to store loads of Pringles?
Then he's fine.
Yeah, that's true.
Think of a better way to carry Pringles than an extremely tall hat.
I would say boxed in a van.
No, because you can't use a van. You've got to carry them.
Right. Okay.
Okay, you're carrying them, and you've got a box of 12 tubes of Pringles, let's say.
12 tubes, okay.
Now imagine stacking these Pringles in a cylinder. So we're not doing one on top of one. That'd be a really narrow hat.
Okay.
So instead we've got, I'm going to guess the circumference can hold maybe 4 cans of Pringles.
Right.
Okay.
Tall, okay.
Oh, wow.
Let's say we make that a 6 foot tall hat.
It is
difficult
tall.
to walk with, but not impossible.
I don't think you need to do that. What you do is lay out a long piece of fabric and tie each one and then roll it up like a
sausage.
12, is it? So then you just have a fat hat.
We've got to do
this. You don't need
a tall hat. I think we should
do this. You have a fat hat with a rounded, like 12 Pringles. And then, if anything, you might be able to slot your head in between with a 12 kind of like creating a circumference of your head.
Yeah.
And then you've got, the Pringles helm.
Well, this is what I'm saying. So this is what's so good about a hat. What I'm saying is imagine how many cans of Pringles you could fit in a hat, then stack them on top of each other, versus then carrying that in a box. I think it would be easier to carry it on top of your head. I mean, many places still do carry things on top of their head as
if you've got good posture, it's a great way to balance the
I think I've just worked out a different way to transport Pringles.
Just Pringles, though. I think there's more to it.
Is anybody else shook?
I'm a little bit shooketh.
I don't think so. I
was thinking more beyond that. Imagine adding accessories.
What's beyond carrying Pringles in your head?
Imagine you stack up all these Pringles in the supermarket.
Yeah.
You then want to pay for them. you simply bow towards the near field communicator.
Nice, and it just goes.
Yeah,
It's on.
is that a 12 pack? Well,
contactless is on the hat.
Obviously.
You got the 12 hat? Yeah, I have.
Yeah, it's a 12 hat. Yeah,
That's a 12 hat.
That's
I
a
know
dozen.
I know
They
how
call
many
it the
presents
dozen
you can
hat.
fit in there.
yeah.
Dozen hat. This one's got Baker's dozen hat. There's one just
Baker's
stuck on the top.
dozen hat.
One is stuck on the top.
The hat trick.
Yeah.
Just 3, small hat.
Yeah, 3 small hats. Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, moving on
Interesting
from
way
the
to
Pringle hat
travel with
concept.
Well, it's
I think
interesting
we
you're
should
talking
do
about people identifying themselves or like not necessarily cosplaying, but like dressing up in a unique way. I saw a guy who looked like he came straight from like Burning Man or like maybe like a desert or something. But he decided to have, so he had like this kind of, I guess it was a torn like rag, just kind of strapped around his head, and then like flying aviation goggles on the top. He was wearing shorts. He was in a museum at this time, and he had like these kind of torn shorts with like kind of like, but like torn for a reason, like not like he's actually just come in and ripped them off as all shit.
It's a very cosplay vibe.
It was very cosplay vibe, but like then I think what it looked like his girlfriend was next to him, just dressed in like
Normally.
jeans and a shirt, t-shirt, whatever. And so like it was very odd that unless he came from some sort of show.
Must have done, right?
It was an interesting
I'll stop
outfit.
into the museum on the way back.
Yeah.
Stopping
I'll
in.
keep the goggles on.
And I was just peruse for 2 hours.
My Ratchet and Clank cosplay is perfect for this Nazi Germany museum. yeah. Is that what?
That's was an interesting choice.
Yeah.
But it got us noticing him.
Yeah.
Like he stood out.
You would,
And,
wouldn't you?
Straight to jail though, really.
It was mainly the aviation goggles that threw me.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he's going to put them on.
Do you think he's going to fly home?
Maybe.
Maybe they've got a window screenless car.
Did you hear them speaking?
No, I didn't. I didn't try and.
I was wondering.
It was one of those things where you point someone out, you
local.
don't want to look at them, but
If
you
they were
do.
from Berlin.
Sorry?
I was wondering if they were German.
They could have been German. I don't know. Well, I feel like if they were German, they probably wouldn't have been in the museum necessarily. They might have been.
Quite a liberal, quite expressive.
Yeah, it's all about.
So
It's like the Bristol of Germany.
yeah.
It's basically like the only real reason to go there now is the history, or like going for German donk and having like a rave.
For the nightlife.
There's a lot of like
there's a lot of proper
big
raves.
party lifestyle
Yeah,
over
yeah.
there. Otherwise, it's a lot of walking. The
Yeah.
zoo's pretty cool there. Went to that.
Nice.
That was last week.
Did you bump into that guy there as well?
What, in a bear costume?
Did he fly in a gyrocopter? Oh, hello there!
Oh, he is using the aviation goggles. He's finally using the
you're-
goggles.
You're a real character.
I'm glad you're using them because I thought it was just
You're
for
a
show.
real character.
A lot of the times, you're just going to look at a person and be like, "That's out of the ordinary."
Yeah,
it
exactly.
takes an equally out there person to confront said person.
Exactly.
So I don't know.
Exactly.
But it's
If
one
you're
of those
okay
where
with
it's like,
people
don't look
looking
now.
at you, then
Yeah.
What did you say
Pretty
when
much.
someone said, don't look now? You fucking
don't look at me.
Don't think of a lion.
What?
Don't think of a lion.
Oh.
I'm thinking of a bear.
With a lion friend?
There was
Being attacked by lions.
Oh, God.
Shit. You
Get the
got me.
spiky collar on.
You got me.
What are you going to say, Trott?
I don't know.
Do you have any other opinions you'd like to share? I felt like you were going to say something earlier about the idea of like expressing oneself in ways that perhaps.
I think I could. I was thinking about just wearing my dick out.
Cock out.
See,
Well,
that will get you arrested.
See that? Yeah. In
But
terms
if
of polite
if
society, that's a crime.
If I cover it in like a cod piece, what if I start wearing cod pieces?
Perfect. I mean, I think cod pieces are great. They're hilarious.
They allow people in public
Erect
swimming pools with
looking cod
speedos,
pieces.
and
Yeah.
those things are basically just showing your cock off.
Yeah.
That's
The thing
what
is
you
about
just-
cod pieces as well is it draws the eye down, which is weird and interesting. So again, at a LARP, there's a nation that wears loads of cod pieces, and I love them. I'm like, damn it,
okay.
I wish I could dress up in a cod piece. They look hilarious.
Yeah.
And but the thing about a cod piece is it does draw the eye. So like, mainly for whoever
your
wants to
own
wear a
what sense,
necklace. But if you ever wear a low plunging top, right? There's the common aesthetic
Always.
idea is to wear a necklace as well, right? To kind of
Yeah.
like it kind of just creates this nice focal point.
It's the Tom
on-
Clark look, right? Without the necklace bit.
Oh, without the necklace.
I think
yeah.
he could add a necklace in.
Right. But yeah, there's this idea that you
His
can sort
beard
of
is his
draw a
necklace.
focal point here. And if you think when you talk to a person, you usually look at their face, sometimes at their chest,
I look
sometimes.
straight at the tits.
All right, Gavin, nice rack.
I'm glad someone said it. He's always looked straight down.
But with
I'd
a
avoid
cod
eye
piece, it
contact
draws
at
the
all
eye
possibilities.
further down than you'd feel normal to see.
Yeah, of
But
course.
thankfully, they've got
That's
something.
shining down there.
Wow, what a cod piece! Now, like, thank you. And then you just have a crotch centric conversation, and honestly, it diffuses a lot of the tension.
That's too far to look down, I think.
The codpiece served multiple
far.
purposes, apparently. One was obviously fashion. It
Obviously,
was a triangular piece of clothing that covered the groin area and was a key fashion item in Europe during the 15th and 16th centuries. It was a simple bag of fabric that tied at the sides became more padded and decorated over the years. Modesty.
Modesty.
Apparently, it's
there's a fashion piece being shown on the screen.
It originally covered the gap between the tunic and the hose.
Yeah. Yeah, so hose typically wouldn't cover your crotch.
Yeah, so
it would
you'd
just
have
be on
a
your legs.
piece to, and then protection, obviously from swords, lances, and other weapons. Not nowadays, not so much a problem.
Well, plenty of lances around here. Hey,
storage as well.
Yours is more of a dagger.
A storage, a pocket. You got a pocket.
Yeah, like a little Polly Pocket.
A small travel pack of Pringles, maybe.
Perfect.
Ooh, well, yeah.
You're never getting them unbroken in a codpiece, though.
No.
Not with the amount of times I become flaccid and erect throughout the day.
Yeah. He's crushing Pringles left, right. Do you like, would you want to eat the bits?
Yeah. It's like the back of a bin lorry.
Yeah. He's constantly up and down.
But I wish I had the confidence to pull off an alternative look that I dream of in my mind. Or I wish I even had the body to pull it off. I think that's what's... Like, that guy in Berlin probably looked like a person that goes to Burning Man, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Like,
you wouldn't
even
guess it. You wouldn't even second guess it.
That is a codpiece.
You wouldn't even look at him at Burning Man. But in a... Christ. But obviously in a museum, he just looked a bit out of place because he's just like, whoa. Well, and it was the aviation goggles that threw me. Because he's not putting them on.
He's not going to go aviate.
No,
he's not going to aviate.
I think he had a leather cap on as well. So it's like, the old school. Cap. So it literally looks like he's about to fly a biplane, and it's just like,
a old pilot hat.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, and it's just like, interesting choice. But like that's a fashion choice that you don't see. Choice. I haven't seen that anywhere. I'll be honest. So I get that's
apart from
really
Comic-Con.
Maybe in Comic-Con, when they're
Yeah, but that's
again when you're in a costumed environment,
it's a specific environment where it's like encouraged. And it's like not out of the norm to see people in costume there. You're more often than not gonna see people in costume than not at Comic-Con, so it's celebrated.
Obviously, fashions change, right? And trends occur. Thankfully,
I don't know. The 90s have come back.
Oh, they have, and I want to fucking burn everyone's clothes. But like, something sparks that change, doesn't it? Something causes that transition. I'm just trying to get to like. Because obviously, most of what we're doing here is just kind of laughing at people that are unusual, right? That's kind of like we're not laughing at them, but that's the feeling you get where you're just like, that's a bit weird. But ultimately, you also understand it doesn't really matter. So at the same time, I'm trying to work out what's that feeling, what's that desire, what's that thing that sparks that thought in your head.
It's usually a young generational thing, right?
So, haha, you got a funny shirt on.
No, as in like that encourages that change.
Right. I see what you mean.
The fashion usually comes from like. I imagine the vintage 90s look came out of the generation or two below us.
The last time that the world seemed vaguely normal was the 90s.
Like our obsession with the 80s, for example.
Yeah.
And that era, and our rose-tinted goggles of it, Stranger Things, retrofuturism, etc., comes from looking at the past and reimagining it in the present. So I imagine it's an excitement factor from that. I don't know.
No, that's probably right.
I usually am.
Okay.
I just feel like it's like you say, like when you're in your formative years, you're just trying to either be different because it's nice to stand out, or do something that you've decided to do separately from someone else, and that's because you don't want to conform, like you say. Maybe it's a rebellious thing. Maybe it is a trauma. I don't know. Maybe it is, but like I think it's just you experiment, don't you? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you put the leather gloves on, you try it out.
Fingerless leather gloves.
That was my most rebellious phase.
You think so?
And that's fine.
I was acting out at that point because I was
with fingerless leather gloves or
no,
in
just general. Like, because I abandoned like college, Richard Hewish. That's where I went to. I was like not turning up. Started smoking cigars. Playing Magic the Gathering.
Fucking hell.
Crazy.
Cigars.
It was a crazy time. Yeah, we'd go to a tobacconist occasionally and buy a couple of cigars and smoke them at like 9:30 in the morning on a park bench before college.
And then just have a hoarse voice for the rest of the day.
And then getting that scrumpy jack from the guy in milk cartons. Getting tanked before music tech.
That was Borough Hill in the plastic ones, right?
The plastic ones. The guy was selling it to
them. Yeah, down at the market or something?
It was the market and
3.5 litres of...
Turned up quite drunk to a lot of lessons.
It was like, college was the first time you're like, I can buy booze.
It's like pre-uni.
Yeah. And this was during a time where it was quite easy to buy booze when you were like 16, 17 as well. So
how many people do you think you have to see wearing fingerless leather gloves before you say, I'll fucking wear those as well? Like, do you think 4 people? 5? Like if you, obviously, I guess you have to approve of the look in your own mind. But if you saw like 30 people wearing fingerless leather gloves, you'd feel the one. You might want to conform. You'd be like, oh fuck, everyone's wearing these. Maybe there's another thing. There's a practical reason, and the reason is you can touch your smartphone and have the warmth of a glove.
Holy shit! These are actually useful again.
Wow.
These are useful.
You know how fiddly those ones that can work with smartphones, but let's be honest.
That good.
So let's bring them back.
Invented during a time where there were no smartphones. It in fact was the perfect invention.
Yeah. And it's the fingers that get coldest first as well. They will.
It's true.
That's
the extremities.
chilliest part. So you always
What
tuck
about
them in.
just the index then?
Just the index, yeah.
And the rest are fully gloved.
I had gloves where I cut the index off. Yeah. Because it's like, well, no, you can't. Or the thumb.
The thumb makes sense.
But like
as well,
airsoft, right?
Thumbless glove.
Operating guns.
Yeah. Or like you can tuck but the material over the top of the thumb.
Oh yeah, like a mitten, but
like
for
a
your
little
thumb.
custom
Thumb mitten.
Thumb mitten. Yeah.
It's almost like you want to ride a motorbike because you want to wear the accessories that come with riding a motorbike, right?
Not really. No, I want to ride a motorbike.
That makes it sound like you want the image of.
This is what I'm trying to get my head around.
The danger of actually riding a motorbike.
It's not something what you're describing is not a concept I particularly sympathise with. I think that like the idea of wanting to be something or wanting to be able to pull something off in order to want to wear it, it's like either wear it and be that person.
It's like justifying wearing a thing. Like wearing those goggles is like, I guess I have to learn how to fly.
I want to fly biplanes.
Yeah, I'm not.
So I will.
Okay, go and do it.
I want to be an ice
the
hockey
reason
player,
I've got fingers is so I can touch my phone, guys, not just for the aesthetic.
But you don't need to make that excuse, I guess. It's just like, why are you wearing things
that's an
like
insecurity?
There's 30 other people wearing
you're
it,
projecting your own insecurity.
Yeah.
So you need to project confidence instead.
No.
And you can't do that unless you actually believe what you're doing is authentic. And so the situations...
It's hard to when you're constantly scrutinized by the wider public, though.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the catch-22. It's like, I'm going to go out there and be confident, bold, but I'm actually going to be told or looked at all the time by everyone that's in the norm category saying, you know what, you look weird.
You have to be a trendsetter.
And so that knocks your confidence.
But what's the reason you want to be a biker, let's say?
Well, no,
I know that's just
you
an
like
example.
the look of the jacket, perhaps.
Exactly.
But the reason you want to become a biker or look cool is because it's for empowerment, right? It's because you want to feel good, you want to look cool, you want to be the person that you idolize in your mind and project that to other people, right? But like, in order to do that, you need to first believe it yourself, because otherwise you're just going to go out and have everyone disempower you. So you're like, oh, I don't want to do this because as soon as I get out there, they disempower me. Well, not if you're so empowered yourself. You know, the badass biker who is actually a social pariah and is the kind of guy that you don't want to go, hey, mate, why have you got that stupid thing on? Because he'll turn around and stab you. Like, that's the reality of being an actual, outlaw biker. Is a lot of these I was looking at something about drug gangs specifically because about that guy that was shot and killed recently in the news, and they were talking about that background, that gang background, and about how the guy that was shot and killed by police in the UK recently did indeed have a quite violent criminal background, and that's why apparently they reacted the way I do. I'm not making comment on that. That's apparently what the news is. But they were saying like, God, all these people are just kind of crazy. Like, how do you go into a club and just shoot or stab somebody with all those people around you? And there's been many, many studies. Essentially, on average, about half of a criminal gang are like psychotic, like as in full on, like they either have drugs or alcohol problems, they have some form of psychosis. Essentially, they find their own. Exactly, they're all already outcasts. So the reason I think is why you might encounter certain friction when trying things or taking paraphernalia from certain social groups is that people will then challenge your membership of that group. And as long as you're happy being challenged,
it's an extreme example.
I guess,
right?
because obviously, then it's just playing into stereotypes, and I guess, you're getting noticed for a negative reason when you might just be like, oh, I like the look of this and maybe the vibe of it, but I don't want to actually be it.
Well, it's about authenticity. It's about be who you are. If you are challenged, your power or those people around you are oppressing you because you are not as powerful as them, because you are being inauthentic. This is where this term "own it" comes from, is that if you can walk into a room and project that feeling of like, I really don't care what any of you think. I will be a lovely person to you. I'll be a good person to you. I'll do all. But as soon as you try and challenge me, I will be like, no, I am who I am. Who the fuck are you?
I'm just picturing Smith in this scenario.
In a biker outfit.
No, not biker. An Indian headdress.
Yo.
Guys.
That's a cultural thing.
But so the litmus test, the test here, before you go into that room is to go, what am I personally comfortable with projecting confidence in?
Yeah.
I would not be personally comfortable with that. But
of course not.
Yeah,
Imagine the confidence required.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's
for cultural appropriation.
But it's about how far the first further you step outside of your norm, your personal norm, your personal authentic self, the harder it is.
Yeah.
And that's just, I think that's why actors are revered as well, like people like that, you know, because it is difficult to step outside one's own mental rules, our own perceptions.
If I came into the office with a full set of Post Malone style face tattoos, like, would you take me seriously?
I felt like there was no progression there. Like I've not seen a hint of you going. I just have a full face.
It's permanent. It's there. And I've just said, well, I'm just going to own it.
It will look more like a crisis until you are able to convince me otherwise.
I don't know if I could. I don't know if there's any. And the thing is, it's one of those things where, like, when you watch like interviews with Post Malone, he's a really nice guy, but like that doesn't elude the look of a nice guy. It eludes a guy who's kind of a bit unhinged and maybe decided to scribble all over his face. Yeah. But obviously he's owned it. It's suited
and
his
he is
look
a nice guy, seemingly.
He gives
but he's also seemingly quite a shy guy in some respects, right? He's quite introverted. Someone you wouldn't approach if they had which would follow with what we were talking about earlier, where introverted people who necessarily don't want to be engaged with or threatened, will present a scary exterior so that they don't have to get to the point where those things are challenged, right? So say he covers himself in those tattoos, he does all that thing, you're like, fuck me, that guy looks scary, you know?
Because the other side is
because the reality is
you wouldn't get employed anywhere.
Huh?
If you were worried about it, you wouldn't get employed anywhere.
Well, that as well.
That's the other thing.
Yeah.
I think that you don't see many face tattoos for probably that reason alone.
Yeah.
It doesn't limit your options.
He doesn't have to worry about that now.
There was a guy in my building the other day that had face tattoos, looked dodgy as fuck, and I'm just like, who the fuck is this guy? But he just locked the door. You know, he got his keys out, locked the door, and I'm like, you look like, you know, like fucking some sort of Venezuelan gang member. You know, like you look sort of really out of the ordinary here.
The stereotype you know it from. Yeah,
of course. Yeah, those
but if I had it, you wouldn't treat me like that.
I mean, of course, as Trott says, with the context of knowing who you are and the lack of a build-up, then I probably would be like, Jesus, Ross has got a tattoo on his face.
Yeah, but again, we're speaking in whispers and tones and behind the backs. Like, how much of it is a confrontation?
That's how much I
think if I did do that, you would probably say something to my
Obviously,
face.
as a friend, you would step in. But
why did you do this?
How often are we confronting people that we just like, whoa, like the guy in Berlin?
Yeah.
Did you confront that guy and say, you stand out to me?
I don't go up to many strangers.
Because he wasn't being disruptive, like you said.
If he was enjoying some, I think it was like a Tutankhamun style.
I think that's what we've got to take away from it. Just most people
don't say any of the things you're thinking. Don't say any of the things you're thinking.
Yeah. They don't act upon any of it.
Or it was more like a don't look now, and then you're like, well, where am I looking?
What I'm saying is people don't act on it, therefore if they're thinking it, does it matter?
Oh, yeah.
No.
Just do what you want.
No.
Until action's taken, nothing matters in the head. Right?
Yeah. So I feel like the older I get, the less I give a shit about what I'm wearing. As in, like, I'm not, that's more just a case of just laziness, I think.
I got a question for a dad.
Part.
Yeah.
And that's Craig Frost, who is a dad.
Who is a father.
Craig. When I become a dad myself,
Craig, voice of
and I'm hyper virile, just letting you know.
Christ.
When I become a dad,
it's good to know.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that period of time where I literally do not give a shit anymore about anything.
Do you mean appearance wise or?
Yeah, mostly appearance, mostly like just being stupid, focusing entirely on just entertaining and accommodating your child over you looking good in public. Have you got that vibe? Do you feel like you've...
What do you think you do now?
I'm just...
I definitely try and conform. I mean, on camera, I'm definitely not that.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely... I don't think I ever did try to... I've always dressed the same. I've always... I don't care. Like, I wear jeans, T-shirt and a hoodie. Like,
you're saying you're born a dad.
To be fair, I think guys have it easy, don't they?
I was born a dad. There you go.
He was born with dad
mentality.
Absolutely.
Like, there's more and more times. All right, I do come out. I've put stuff in my hair today.
Yeah.
But
you'd certainly have.
There's most, if
he's spiked his
most times if I'm going out, like I probably won't even bother. Or you're right. There is a level of not caring so much.
There's a bigger priority.
There's a bigger priority. I need to just get out the door before this nappy fills, so I have to stop and do it again.
So I don't look forward to the nappy bit, but I look forward to the lack of focus on myself and worrying about myself.
Well, you can do that already, Trott.
I know, but I think there's a physical need, and when there's a genuine other thing that I care about more, then that
it can be it could probably be detrimental as well in a way, because I haven't been to the gym since I've had a baby. So
oh, I see.
So I guess
but you've been lifting a kid,
you've been
right?
Lifting
just get some squats in now and again. Do some dumbbell lifts.
Yeah, and they get heavier as well. So over time, you're
building that weight.
Building that weight, yeah, exactly, naturally.
I mean, we do live in a very judgmental world. I think it very much depends on how much you want to be seen in that judgmental world. So, like, if you are literally just in the background, like if I'm walking the dog, I'm not going to dress up for it.
Again, I think the excuse is very apparent. And
I'm trying to get to the root of what you're actually expecting that transition to be, because by the sound, like what you talking about, like you're looking forward to, like almost you're describing like a magic bullet to a huge problem that you have.
No,
it's
a physical excuse that everyone's like, oh, he's got a kid. That's
for
fine.
what though? Like it's not like you have.
No, I'm not saying that's why I'm going to get a kid.
But no, that's literally what you said. So literally, you just said, I'm looking forward to not having to give a fuck about anything to do with me personally.
Yeah.
What is it? But to me, that sounds like.
And that's like just
you're waiting until that moment for that to change. What is it now that you feel like you're too concerned about your personal appearance? Is that what you're saying?
I care too much.
It stresses you too much.
Yeah, it's annoying.
Yeah, but I think this is a bit different in this scenario because we do have an audience of people who will make judgmental comments. Not all of you, obviously.
And those ones stick out.
But that's going to get worse if you.
And everyone focuses on. And that's.
Sorry, this is something that
true. But I can be like, but I have a kid. So,
but nobody will give a fuck.
But also,
then I won't either because I'll have my mind set.
But you're not just a father.
But that goes back to owning anyway. You could start just dressing like a slob and not giving a shit, not doing your hair or whatever, and people will just be like, okay, well, you own it. Rather than
a lot of people will be like, well, he's got a kid.
It might look a bit like, oh, is he all right? Because he's he looks like he's even washed his face. Do you know what I mean? Or whatever. Like, okay, maybe a quick check in. But
I mean, don't get me wrong.
I think you could own it for a bit. You'd be fine.
I enjoy presenting myself in a nice way. Sometimes I let it slip, and that's fine too. But just having a physical guys, I'm a slob today because I need to do 7 nappy changes this morning. Having an excuse, I think, is what it is.
Well, that's more socially acceptable than just saying, I just watched 6 series of something and just fucking monged out in my.
I'm looking forward to being a socially acceptable slob.
My pants, and just dribbled all over myself watching Netflix. I spent 18 hours just gaming.
There's no better excuse than a newborn for but I think looking like a piece of trash.
Luckily, you're surrounded by a lot of people who don't give a shit about their own looks anyway, so that's quite a good thing, really. In any other industry, the lifestyle content creator, you'd be fucking judged for every single thing you did. Gaming's perfect. No one gives a shit. It's great. I mean, just go to our office. It's such a mangled mix of fashion choices. It's like...
What you mean, the people there?
Yeah,
just you meant
like some people just don't give it, and that's fine, because everyone's accepting of that. So
I honestly think people
it's our own
accepting.
It's our own accepting group of people, and I think that's a great thing.
I agree with you.
Over the last few years, most of the content creators have actually got a lot better.
Yeah,
of course.
But they're becoming quite individual. I noticed as well.
Yeah.
But as in, don't give a shit about what other people think about what they wear.
Yeah.
So because of the industry we're in, it isn't that big. It's not that deep.
Yeah,
that's the good thing about
But that's also the good thing is that you can really easily stand out if you put some effort in.
Yeah,
that's why I like it.
Well, so whenever I wear a shirt, everyone's just like, "What the fuck are you going to?" I was like, "I'm just wearing a shirt today." It just sometimes looks quite.
Isn't that funny though? That you wearing a shirt, which is quite normal,
is more
in our specific environment.
Like, what business meeting are you going to, lad? It's like,
well,
sometimes I look nicer in a shirt than a hoodie.
That's we're in such a weird environment.
It is, that's
we're surrounded by alternatives. And we when you wear a shirt, you're the norm. You're the
normie. Yeah.
This is why the reason rather than the solution is often more interesting.
Yeah.
Because I think the solution is often less well reasoned. As in we only see the solutions people give to things or expressions of what they're thinking, but really the reason is the much more interesting thing. And that's why I was kind of trying to work out what is the driving force behind you feeling the need for relief from your hour-long makeup every morning.
Would it be weird if I think I've asked this before, if I started wearing suits more? I think it would be just very strange. It's such an occasion situation. Unless I had a boring office job somewhere, which you're allowed to wear a suit, you would wear.
It's a suit requirement.
You should be wearing a suit all the time, whatever.
We talked about this a while back, didn't we?
When we wore suits for a hat chat.
Yeah.
I like wearing suits.
They're nice things, and they're nice.
Recently,
they're nice sets of clothes to buy as well. That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Like you get so used to buying jeans and t-shirts, which are nice, comfortable, practical clothes, and they can look nice as well. But what
goes above a suit? Because once you look banging in a suit,
it's a cloak. It's an ornate wedding
cloak on top of the suit.
It's a cloak with a picture of your own face embroidered, and then a peacock behind that.
Then you're getting to crown territory. You've got to wear
wear a crown.
Yeah,
goes with the cloak.
Furry crowns.
I didn't know what else to wear above a suit, so I just wore a crown and a cloak with fur.
And I got this scepter.
The scepter, of course. Don't know what to do with mine. Don't take it anywhere.
Fashion's a weird one, isn't it?
It is a weird one, but yeah.
Expressing oneself. I didn't expect that to come from
I don't know
me being married.
No, me either. Yeah. But congratulations on your marriage. You got married.
Thank you.
That's lovely. And that's
I wore a suit for that.
We were a week away.
You guys wore a suit for that.
I wore a suit for that. I bought a nice suit for that. Nice little blue one.
Everyone was at the wedding. I just don't. I want to let everyone know that no one was missed out on the wedding.
No,
that would have been awkward.
That would have been
wedding.
awkward. Yeah. Yeah, because it'd be weird not to see. Well, it'd be weird if it was a surprise. Oh, by the way, I just got married. Oh, what the fuck? That'd be weird.
I've had friends do that.
Have you really?
Yeah.
Like friends you speak to often, or friends you haven't spoken to in a couple of years? Because I think that's different.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, because I think it's like because it's the same when you plan a wedding, you have to gauge like, oh, how many people do I want there? Do I ask this person I haven't spoken to in 3 years?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No. Yeah.
So that's that's understandable. And also we're getting an age where you do just drift apart from your older friends because everyone's got life shit in the way.
Yeah, too busy playing Factorio.
And you're too busy playing Factorio or
to talk to people.
People have jobs, all their own family life to deal with. So
yeah,
that's acceptable. You just eventually get used to that. So like if you are younger watching this or listening to this, like just enjoy the time you have with your friends because honestly, it's one of those things where you don't. People say it to you. Older people say it to you. Oh yeah, enjoy it, but
it's true.
It's one of those things where you can try as hard as you want.
Older. And
it's something that I love about
busy.
LARPing. Like 4 times a year, I meet up for like 3 or 4 days with just my mates, and
cool.
and you just like that is very rare. Like think about how often you get the chance for like a lot of your friends to actually get together and see them again. Like you say, considering how much you see them in your teens and even in your 20s, like you'll see those people a lot, and it's incredibly nourishing. Yeah. Like it's really important for your mind and everything like that. And then you lose that. You do. I mean, not lose, but it becomes more difficult for real reasons. And like you say, that's just kind of the way it is. People trying to do multiple things. Life isn't just about maintaining friendships. But
a lot of it is relationship based, though.
Oh yeah, success is relationship based. Yeah. Like success in most forms is relationship based. Be it family, be it professional, be it with friends. If you can maintain a large group of healthy relationships, you will have a better life than other people. Yeah. And so you need to work on it. And
you need to look at a situation sometimes and be like, is this petty? Is this worth losing a friend over?
Yeah.
More often than not, it's not. And so like you have to look at these situations and be like, this seems pretty stupid when you zoom out, but it's so hard in those moments when
because emotions are things, but, real things.
I've known people who just lose friends over the silliest things.
Yeah,
you'll regret that later.
Yeah,
if you're missing out on the social aspect of adult life, the way to fix that is to go to an awesome LARP.
Yes,
or interesting.
That would be good.
I mean, and hobbies, of course, not to detract from that very good point. Just hobbies, interests of any kind. Just meet people.
But mostly a LARP.
Yeah, LARP.
I mean, LARPing.
If you do it 4 times a year.
Yeah,
4 times a year sounds like a good
LARPing is a transformational
experience. Is it a
experience.
week, like a 4-day weekend type thing?
If you want to,
Some people turn up on Thursdays.
I wish there was another one.
Thursday, you just want to set up early and then get into it, don't you? So,
But, we'll see.
I don't know anything of that yet, so I guess we'll see. But
there's nothing out there right now that appeals to me, but maybe there'll be one in the future. We'll see. Anyway, thank you for listening to Hat Chat today. Is there any funny news, anything like that?
Well, no, because we're going to focus on what we think over the last couple of weeks.
Ross's story as well.
Well,
we've still got time.
I can briefly cover it. Well, basically, because obviously
you can talk about Germany a lot.
I guess also this covers the friend thing as well, keeping friendships and stuff. So one of my closest friends, he was going through a breakup suddenly a weekend ago, and he was planning to go to Berlin with his girlfriend, and she just ended it suddenly. He didn't see it coming. Came out left field, and he was like, "Oh shit! Like I've got all of this booked and stuff." And then I went as his, not as his girlfriend. Not like it wasn't like a role play. It wasn't a role play.
In a way, though.
I mean, things did take a turn. No, and so it was just a case of I'll console my friend and go to somewhere I've not been before, which is quite a nice kind of random spontaneous thing. And obviously it coincided with, you were in your honeymoon kind of thing. So it was, very stressful at the beginning because I was like, oh shit, like I haven't planned anything, whatever, which kind of sometimes you get the best out of. And so it was a bit unique in that sense. And I just spent most of the time in kind of, museums, and like we went to the Topography of Terror, which was like a kind of like we went to lots of World War II museums, which is kind of a good thing because obviously it's good that they are talking about it in the place where it all happened. And
a lot of stuff went down in Germany during that time, didn't it?
Yeah, a lot of shit went down, and it's like it's very interesting.
Harrowing though.
harrowing in the sense of like, it's a very heavy week. like
I can't believe you went to several as well.
Several. I'll list. I've got a little list of.
Ross is really cultured and historied up now, though, which is the upside.
Well, we first went to the Reichstag building, which is like the government building, with a big old dome on the top. Really nice, really cool. Like obviously, back in the day, it was burnt down in the war.
What? Sorry,
in the war.
Which one?
Oh, it would be World War II.
Two. There was a sequel.
There was a sequel.
Nice.
But shit hit the fan.
Right.
That was a big one.
Yeah.
And there was the Neuy National Gallery. That was a good one. That was not really war based. That was more like kind of like Bronze era.
That's lovely.
Iron going through the ages, which is quite interesting.
Is that what you went in?
That's the Reichstag, Trott.
That's the Reichstag building, and now it's being shown if you're watching this on the Chat channel.
Berlin's another city Trott has been to.
You've been to this
We went there for Walsh's birthday like 15 years ago.
Oh, right.
I didn't go to that.
Oh, maybe you did. Oh, here we go. We're about to breaking down relationships. Here we go. This is another. He wasn't even invited.
You were there.
I was not there.
You were thrown up in a bin, surely.
Maybe
I've got footage of it. Wait, hang on a second. There's so much. He's going to double check it somewhere.
You weren't drunk the entire time. Yeah, we went to the Reichstag.
I went to a there was a really pointless museum we went to, which is called MIT Museum, which is about like life in Berlin, which was very, but it was a very kind of like tiny museum. Everything was in German in that one, I think, so that was a bit difficult to navigate, but. That was just on the way to another museum. So there was also the Memorial to the Murdered Jews of Europe, which didn't look great on the sat-nav because it just seeing murdered Jews of Europe doesn't look great on anything.
No,
but that was a very heavy.
Yeah, it sounds it. Yeah,
but is that the one with all the pillars?
Yes, yeah, all like a large like kind of field of. They look like tombs, I suppose. But
I've seen that. Yes.
Yeah.
They're like rock, like stone.
Yeah.
Right?
And then just down the road is the car park, which is right over where Hitler killed himself.
The bunker.
In a bunker, yeah. But they've now just paved over it with the car park.
I
said they should have put public toilets there.
In Berlin that he.
Yeah.
Committed suicide.
Man, Battle of Berlin, man. It's big stuff.
That's huge. That's way bigger.
It's a big, yes. So there's an underground museum under there, which shows more of the personal stories of.
Is it really quiet?
Some of the Jews that were killed.
I imagine it's really quiet there.
Yeah, I mean, there was a main road next.
It's like a respectful silence, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's very whisper quiet inside all these museums, really.
Well, you're not playing tag in there.
You shouldn't probably play tag in there. You wouldn't want to run around those either.
Hide and seek.
Yeah, they specifically don't really run around the tombs. Also, you just wouldn't. Although I saw someone sitting on them, and I thought that was kind of disrespectful. But they're not actually like.
Or like selfies and.
Yeah, but like
TikToks.
Yeah. And then you've got just down the road from that is the car park, which is again I said should be a public toilet, which is right above where Hitler killed himself in the bunker. So.
Christ.
But obviously they didn't want to make. I guess they didn't want to make it a thing, but it's still kind of a thing because people go past it in tours. And there's a sign that says he died there, but like, I guess out of respect, they didn't want to make it like a monument or anything. No, obviously, because why would you?
Yeah,
but like,
don't want to martyr him.
But if you're parking on there, you'd be a bit more conscious of it. I feel you'd be like, what you parked over? Well, Hitler's body.
Chris Trott, I don't think you did come to Berlin with me.
No,
sorry.
That's all right. It sounds like a great time.
It was great. Yeah.
One of the fun museums was a spy museum, which was quite cool. It showed all these tiny little gadgets and stuff they used for like spies used in various wars and stuff. So and also like tiny little cameras that were just like little pen cameras and stuff, and like all these little
very cool
and these little flip guns and like credit card guns and stuff, which was quite interesting. But then there was a bit
redundant because of like modern tech and.
Now they're going to go. What's that old phone?
I was like, everything is museums on my phone. Apart from I don't have a gun on my phone, but there were interesting weapons.
Oh, volt battery.
Trabant as well in there, which had like some sort of radar device. I think they're showing it now.
Cool.
Which has like an IR device that was designed for taking photos strategically inside the thin panels of Trabants.
Cool. That's wild.
So I did also visit. Well, I briefly visited the World of Trabants.
Yes.
I didn't want to pay to go in there because it was just
more Trabants.
Trabants in a car park is basically what it is.
Yeah.
But I had a little look and it was nice to see a Trabant. But that's East Berlin.
You've driven one, so
driven one. Yeah, I had the real experience driving on a busy modern day road with one, which not as fun as it sounds.
All the rage. Maybe they'll come back in electric form.
You could probably put. I'm pretty sure someone said they can.
Well, I mean, the crash protection alone would be worth.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're really crumple friendly. Yeah, they will crumple like a Pringles can.
Around this lithium battery. That's my trampy.
Yeah, exactly.
The good news is we converted this Trabant and it now goes 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. But
the chassis wouldn't handle the weight. Yeah,
the second the torque activates, it just rips the car out the back of the car.
We shouldn't have used the horsehair in the scenario. There he is.
But the Spy Museum was quite fun. Also, one of the more interesting places was it's called a Berliner Unterwelten Tour, which is they do several tours. You have like some of the bunkers they used, and like the one we went to was the second tour, Tour 2, which is called From the Flak Tower to the Rubble Mountain. So they basically built like a castle, but it was built up like this ultra reinforced shitloads of rebar and concrete. And it was just this, fortress essentially that had massive guns on the top. And they were designed to shoot down the planes and stuff. Christ. I think one of the things they said was like there were like 350 odd air raids, right? And I think they only took down 38 planes with it because it was so hard to get them because it's But they had apparently really sensitive, like really accurate radar system, but it's just shooting them with these fuckers is difficult
with a flat cannon.
But these places were indestructible. Even when they tried to blow them up with dynamite and stuff from the inside, when the Allied forces came in, it was just they couldn't do it. So like this kind of like this one had a kind of half of it was crumbled down and created like this rubble mountain, which is now built up and kind of the centerpiece of this massive park, which is quite cool. But they advise you not to go in it because some kid did and he slid down the stairs and died at the bottom. Because there's a huge elevator shaft. They kept all the ammo at the bottom and lifted it all to the top and stuff. And it was like this functioning place and.
Sounds very cool.
And it was very interesting. That's very interesting because that was like one of the kind of center places for defense, really. So they would go there in air raids.
I suppose 38 planes is quite a lot of planes, to be fair, to shoot down. Like 38 bombers, I'm guessing.
Odd, big ones. Well, this is it. But like when the Americans came, they could fly higher than they could reach. Because they had bigger planes and
the B-52s.
Big fuckers, yeah. But also, like, it was so hard to actually accurately hit this tower. So they were pretty for what they were, but that's classed as one of the Nazi megastructures. And they built it in 6 months, which makes me really question the Bristol City Council.
They don't have
all the things. They don't have 3,000.
Bristol needs a wartime economy. Yeah. All right, we need.
Supposedly this one was built with actual like paid labor, but obviously Nazis, did also enslave a lot of people.
Fucking classic Nazi shit.
They did, enslave a lot of people, and also just commit atrocities.
It's not good people.
There was a lot of stuff about fucking Himmler.
Heinrich Himmler.
Heinrich Himmler, who did some of the... he was the fucking mastermind of the worst of the worst. Yeah, that was the topography of terror area. That was...
And the topography is...
Bleak.
Wasteland,
Yeah. And that's, and it makes you... And it's one of the things where you come away from that seeing all this stuff and you think, God, there are people who deny that this happened.
Still are.
And of course. And it's just like, go there. Like, there's no way you, and also there's no way you would set up like 30 odd museums with all this stuff, and also the physical evidence and all this other stuff. It's like, this happened, man. It's fucking rough. Humans are shit.
There's a very
what's worse is they haven't really changed in 80 years. Like, this stuff happens all over the world. Still, that's bleak. Not really a topic to end on, but it's one of those things where it's just like it can be shit, and obviously there's all sorts of wars going on right now as well that make you wonder. We're lucky that we're not in those situations, basically.
Yeah.
So it's good to learn about these because if we didn't learn about these things, it would just happen again and again without unchecked.
That's why it's all there in Berlin. And they put it at the front and they don't try and hide it.
They don't sugarcoat it and they don't like try and hide away from what happened in their country. Like, their people, didn't think... I mean, it's also just shocking how quickly it all happened. Like, in the space of 10 years, the landscape changed so drastically.
It's kind of worrying.
Makes you wonder how fast these things can actually happen, and before you even see it happening.
Yeah.
So so that's why it's
we've got nukes and stuff, and that's concerning.
Still do. Yeah.
That's what I mean.
But if you are interested in that kind of thing, Berlin's good for it. To learn a lot of that stuff. Yeah. I mean, there were a lot of school trips and stuff we saw. Like, going
just doesn't sound appealing, does it? Like, to someone that's
of course not. Yeah. If you're just going for a nice little holiday, maybe try somewhere else.
But also, if you're in that camp of like denying it happened.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. Oh, they're more likely to cover their eyes and say no, it definitely didn't happen. Yeah, and then it's interesting going there as well, like because the Neuy Museum, I don't know if I'm saying that properly, or Neuy National Gallery, was covered in bullet holes. And that was kind of amazing because they didn't actually cover them up. Whereas like the massive cathedral they've got there has loads of like these little square patches where they've obviously covered all the bullet holes and stuff. But I think that's part of that history.
Definitely.
And like, although obviously, if it's in a dangerous situation, doesn't want to crumble on people, whatever.
Yeah.
But this museum was riddled, and it's like that's where it fucking happened. That's evidence of it fucking happening, and it's like
crazy.
It's quite interesting.
All right, well, trip to Berlin for our next vlog.
Well, I've already been.
The food and culture,
exhausted.
food, drink, and culture in Berlin is also very good.
Yeah, some
not just.
currywurst,
Obviously the history is a
currywurst,
huge reason to go, but there is also a load of other really Berlin's also famous for other things as well.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
But yeah, do like a World War II vlog where we go to like Auschwitz and.
I feel like that's when we're in our 50s, kind of. That's like James May level, documentary level stuff, which is fine.
Yeah, Great Escape.
But yeah,
if we can convert one person from being a denier into a believer, I think that's our job done, really, isn't it?
I don't think one person's enough.
Probably.
Yeah, that's it. And obviously, it happens faster than you would believe. And also, you get the people of Germany were promised things that didn't happen. And also there was a very interesting museum which was about Germania, which is what
the Great Plan.
Hitler planned to build Berlin, and it was just, again, a load of these mega structures that kind of didn't really serve any purpose other than just his vanity, and he wanted to basically create like this neo kind of Roman landscape of Berlin. Very interesting. And there was a big old model. We weren't allowed to take photos and stuff, but I think apparently they made that model specifically for Downfall. I don't know if you've seen Downfall.
Yeah.
Very detailed, very interesting what they were going to do. But obviously they were going to do it with slave labor and stuff, so not cool.
Not cool. Oh, the Nazis famously not cool.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I think that's something we can end on there.
Yeah.
Nazis not that
famously not cool. Such a German for not cool. It's very interesting. Thanks for your very brief history tour.
It was unplanned, but it happened.
Yeah.
Is that it?
There you go.
I just JO till I KO.
You can Google the models and stuff. Like, it's quite interesting seeing like what they were planning to do. And
it looks really good.
Bloody hell, I wish they built this now. No, it would have been a complete waste of resources.
Yeah.
And also that it was completely done with the mentality that none of the buildings that already exist would have been saved. It was just... Right. It's like saying, do you know what? Let's rebuild Bristol. Like we're doing a resave in fucking SimCity. Mm-hmm. Let's start again because picking up an old save of SimCity is boring. It takes a lot of work.
Let's just delete everything.
Which obviously in some scenarios you're like, our roads are really narrow and thin. But like,
to be fair, in wartime, Bristol got hit quite hard as well.
Yeah.
So like the idea of
Castle
doing
Park
a redo and rebuilding into something better makes sense. But we just need a war.
Well, yeah, we don't need one.
Typically that has been a bit of a reset. If COVID had just killed more people, we would have been in a different position.
Well, it's one of those things where you think about the future of the vehicles and all this other stuff. Like our roads are fucking narrow. Like going to Berlin was like, God, these roads are massive, but obviously everything was destroyed and like they rebuilt. You could
rethink it with cars in mind. Yes,
but
Bristol was not thought with cars in mind.
No, currently we live in the Simpsons has a crocodile under the carpet era of infrastructure. Yeah. Where everything's just piled on top of everything else, and then you're just like, whoa.
It's a bumpy, but we'll deal with it when we can.
Thanks for listening today. We hope you found that interesting. And we really hope you're not going to go out and make any sort of out there fashion choices this week.
Well, that's what,
I don't want to look at you weirdly and be like,
I think do what you want. Wear the aviator goggles, but I think wear them functionally. Don't just pop on your head. If you're gonna wear them on your eyes as well.
If you're going to wear them, open the windows of your vehicle and lean out.
Yeah,
might as well. You've got windscreens on your eyes now.
Exactly.
Yeah, why the fuck not?
Thank you very much for listening. Again, huge thanks to, in specific terms, our Patreon supporters that allow this sort of thing to keep going.
Thanks, Patreon.
Honestly, without that, we wouldn't be doing Hat Chat, honestly. So thank you for supporting us.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time for some more of this raucous conversation. Goodbye for now.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.